like to mention a few people that have passed this week and give them a moment of silence. Ken Clune, who was a past town councilman. David Cohen, Harold Lonsdale, Helen Ronk, Helen Hutchins, Beth Till, and William Samus. Thank you. And Jen, want to make an announcement?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention that there's a celebration of Ken Clune's life here at the Rec Center on Saturday at 11 a.m. and all who knew him are welcome to attend.
When did this happen?
On Sunday.
His son too.
Yeah. He's been battling an illness for a long time.
Yeah.
He's a wonderful, incredible man.
City council.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When did that start?
It's been a while,
Yeah.
but I don't think there was an obituary. That's why people didn't really know. Yeah.
Month and
There
a
was
half?
just an obituary in this past Blues Dome
Yeah.
press, but it was.
That's when I saw it.
Yeah. I'm going to apologize to the board because I just realized there's something that we left off the agenda tonight, and if we want, I think we could still do it as a motion, and that was the discussion we had about changing the policy about time off, the amount of weeks. Are we okay if we do that as a motion, and then we'll just write it up to add to the policy? Okay. I had my notes in front of me, and I never turned into a resolution. Okay. Is there anyone who would like to make any public comments or public petitions? Billy, community events?
I think the parking lot striping looks great.
Oh, thank you.
Did that just get done?
Did you see it at the new town hall also?
I didn't, I just saw it out here tonight when I come in, I said, boy, this looks spiffy.
Thank you.
I noticed the same thing, and I wasn't sure. I haven't been here for a while, so I wasn't sure when it got
Just done
done.
this week.
Looks great.
The striping does look nice.
Oh,
In preparations for the summer swim up at Williams Lake, we are doing a beachfront cleanup. So we put out an email calling for any volunteers who want to come up, and that's Thursday, this coming Thursday, and I believe there's a couple of other dates after that, but I know tomorrow night they're doing a cleanup between 6 and
5:30 and 8?
5:30 and 8, yeah.
okay.
I got the email.
Yep.
Said that.
Yeah, just give me the other ones, and maybe Jill can put it on the website.
Yeah, I can't remember. I think it's the next Tuesday and then the next Thursday.
Yeah, I
But
can't
I'll
remember.
I have to check. I can't remember the other two dates in time.
Okay.
What kind of mosquitoes?
Right around that time.
Anything else? I'd like to make a motion to approve the last month's minutes.
Second.
Roll call, Councilman Hassett.
Yes.
Councilwoman Metzger.
Yes.
Councilman Kozlowski.
Yes.
Councilman Ryan.
Yes.
Supervisor Walsh.
Yes. Councilman Kozlowski, would you like to start with the committee reports?
Sure. I have no news from the Chamber of Commerce. My assessor's report for the month of May, $1 total monies received. But also in May, we had our grievance day. Received a total of 23 grievance applications. 10 property owners appeared before the board of review, and their naming applications were dropped off or agreements reached between our assessor and the owners ahead of time.
Can I add something to the assessor? Just so that everyone knows, our assessor, who's been with us for the past 2 years, is now going to also be the assessor for Marbletown, and we will pick a room that will be a shared office for both towns, and it's one of the first ways, we're going to share services. Basically he'll be working half the time for Rosendale, half the time for Marbletown, but he'll be available to both communities, throughout the whole day. So I think this is a good thing, and there's obviously some shared service grant money for that too, which we will be working on getting. So I just thought that was a good time to let the public know. You may have seen something in the Bluestone. I know they announced it at Marbletown's meeting when they hired him.
Also, in the assessor's report, the 2014 update project has officially been completed. Review for the 2014 roll was the last year of the cyclical reassessment plan approved by the town, starting with the 2010 roll. As part of the plan, the town will receive $12,000 in aid from the state in early 2015. Okay. For the Environmental Commission, they're continuing to work on their energy audit, as well as their emissions inventory, and their green procurement policy, looking at other models for the town to consider. On the emerald ash borer preparedness, they will be able to staff a table at the street festival this year, and at their upcoming meeting next week, they will have sample emerald ash borer brochures and other materials that they've gathered in the last month to redistribute.
Yeah, just so everyone knows, Joe Leone from the Environmental Commission and Bob Gallagher, our highway super, have both been for some training about the emerald ash borer infestation, and highway department has been actively trying to identify the trees that are infected and remove them. And there's a whole set of criteria that needs to be done, and we thought this was a good opportunity to educate the public through the Environmental Commission and let the public understand, if you see these trees, what needs to be done. There's some things that we need to do to be sure that we don't spread this. I remember several years ago going to Association of Towns, and they had quite a big display and education about it, and that was like, oh, we don't have to worry for a while because it's way up north, and here it is now, so we do have to watch this, and I think this is a great opportunity to get the word to the public. And we thank the Street Festival for working with us on that. It might also be a good time to hand out the MS4 stuff too, or to educate people on that.
And Joe has also been adamant in reminding everybody what the town's looking at doing is protecting the roadways. If property owners have trees elsewhere on their property that don't pose a hazard to the roadway, that's up to the property owners to identify and remediate. So back to preparing people to prevent that. Also, that June 14th, this weekend, the Ulster County Youth Expo will take place at Kelders Farm. Includes trout tank, fishing, archery, and other activities, and it's free. It's an all-day event starting 8:30 a.m. till, I believe, 9 p.m. Those are my reports.
All right, Town of Rosedale Highway Department, this month, May, total monies taken in were $0, but I'm gonna back up because I didn't have the exact amount for the month of April. In the month of April, we took in $1,039.60, and that was from the Kingston Recycling at 2 stops of scrap metal. With the Highway Department, I want to add that they have started the decommissioning process at the Benningwater Dam. And ironically, before I came down here, I was mowing and I had my headphones on listening to the news, and they just said that the dam issue is becoming a very serious topic in the state of New York. There's 800 dams that are in dire need that would cause great effects, so I guess that would be a Class A.
Well,
Now 799.
yeah. Well, we were identified as one of them, and that's why we took action to take care of this.
I just thought it was pretty weird that
Yeah.
had this process and then had this hit the news, so I thought I would
Seems like
just
a
pass it
long
on.
time, but we did everything we had to do
Right.
to get to that point where now it's.
Well, you have to answer all the calls of different groups before you can start the process, so we're on the way with that, so that'll be behind us. ZBA, there was nothing on the agenda for the month of May, and the income was Zippo, nothing. For the Youth Commission, I'll tell you what, we need to get a couple more of those St. Pauli clothing lockers. Our total take for the month was $327.77. So I thank everyone, and please pass the word that are using our clothing locker opposed to others. But the total we have to date is $1,992.77. As far as the camp for kids, we have 149 out of 168 spots taken up, so there's only a few less left with all the sessions, so I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of last minute where they're gonna go quick. Attendance for the month of May was 309, a little bit down from last year, and I guess they contribute that somewhat to the T-ball and the car show. And I think, and one more, the last one, is the Water and Sewer Commission. We did have a meeting this month because of the fact of Memorial Day. But the water totals were $16,379.85, and the sewer total was $11,241.35. Grand total of $27,621.20. And that sums it up.
The Recreation Commission minutes are on file with the town clerk. Anything we should be discussing in there? I think we're all good. Update on the pool. I can share that we met with the engineers, and there'll be a subsequent meeting coming up, I believe, next week. Next Friday. And making preliminary plans for the deconstruction of this pool and setting the way for the installation of the new pool, which hopefully, if everything goes according to plan, will be up and running next year at this time and swimming. So as we get further into it, we'll be bringing you up to date, but it's exciting. And along that line, to start giving balances in the Community Foundation, which is the 401k that's set up through the county.
Through Community Foundation.
Through the community foundations, for the pool, $8,720.51. So that's another way to get to where we need to be. The town clerk reports for the month of May, $5,874.75. And the building department reports a total of $2,945 for the month of May. And that's it.
Brian?
Ken?
Yes.
Is it, with the rec commission and the pool project and stuff, is it possible that we can get a, some sort of a display with some of the, plans and stuff like that?
Absolutely.
And some information
Yes.
up there at Williams Lake
Yep.
starting on the 4th of July, just so people, when they're there, have an idea of where this money is going and what's happening. It's going to be great to have something like that up there. If we
Well,
can
we're
get
looking
some
for
good-
volunteers to run the booth, right? And
Yeah, I was
we'll
just
definitely
thinking
plan
that
on having some
just
stuff up.
getting the engineering company to give
Yep.
us some display boards
We can
and
definitely
stuff
do
like that.
Yeah.
It'd be
Yeah.
great to have that because it will help with fundraising.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely do that, and we can even go so far as to get some of the old core samples to, show them what the old pool was like.
Yeah.
Cool.
Dog control, monthly receivable report, monies received, $121. And farmer's market was the only source of income this month for the planning board, which took in $28.80. And I had a competing meeting the night of the planning board meeting last month, so Billy, do you wanna,
I think the farmer's market was pretty much the only thing we had.
yeah.
How did it go, Bill?
Well,
Yes?
I said on this side.
No, I didn't.
Oh, the first one?
farmer's market.
The first one went very well.
Yeah.
Last week I was up on a mountain jam, so I think they said it was a little slow, but also now's the time, excuse me, where things aren't quite out of the ground yet. But strawberries starting to pop out, mushrooms are coming in good, chicken and eggs. I think it'll be a successful transition.
Good. The ingress and egress didn't prove to be an issue, or?
The first Sunday, no. I wasn't there this Sunday, but, there was no real problems, the June 1st. It seemed to work out pretty well.
Good.
We renewed our sign permit. Additional signage will certainly help people to know we're there, but we've only had 2 so far, and I think it'll get better as it goes.
Okay,
Great. Could I just say one thing that for the community? Just so everybody knows, and please pass the word that as of Monday afternoon, Tilson School is no longer the Kingston City School District school. The closing took place at about 2 o'clock. 32 years later, it's sold. Last Wednesday, I've had a lot of residents call me because a lot of people walk on Gristmill Road and they're concerned about the overgrowth, the grass and that. So I reached out to Tom Clapper, no return phone calls. So Friday night at about 5 o'clock, I went up there, mowed, weed whacked the whole schoolyard, and I finished up at 10 o'clock at night. So it's done, it's over. We have a new owner of it, very nice gentleman. He's also now a resident of our town.
You gonna send the school district a bill for your service?
No.
Prior to the close, I think you have a good case.
But anyway, so I guess the reason why I also want to pass this, a lot of people use the school for, you're thinking it's the schools and it can just come and go. So now that it's in new owner's hands, kind of think before anybody moves.
Well, I'm assuming he'll put up some signage and inform people that it's private property, right?
Well, yeah, I just, what, he's not doing anything right now, but I just want to pass the word so everybody is somewhat informed.
Wasn't there some discussion early on that he was going to open up the playgrounds for the community?
It's in writing that I have from him. He is going to put a baseball field in there for the kids. He's going to put a basketball court in. There was one there years ago when I was a kid, and I think, don't quote me on this one, I think a shuffleboard. In his bottom paragraph, he wanted to fill all age groups in the community to give them something to do. And I have that in an email from Sierra. So far, he's a great man, and he wants things done. He doesn't drag his feet. He wants it done. He wants it done now. So,
It's nice that building is not gonna just crumble away.
well,
We've been hoping.
it's there.
Yeah.
We've been hoping somebody would take it under their wing and fix it and
Yeah.
bring it back to life, and it looks like that's going to happen. That's a good thing.
Thank you.
Anything else? Okay. Financial report. In the general fund, $1,166,974.33. In highway, $892,913.08. In capital highway, $31,342.90. In capital, $71,312.37. In rec sub, $24,585.06. In capital rec, $791.47. In light, $18,072.84. don't have any appointments or resignations. Right. We're gonna have the summer help we'll do on our meeting in July. So we're gonna start with the street festival site plan. I know that you guys met with Perry and went over everything, and he said he's good to go. And I got an email from, was it from you about from the fire department, they're okay
Yeah,
with the plan? And did you get it okay from Bob? for the
Yeah, I think
highway?
the day after.
He said what he
last
would
week's
do.
meeting,
He
sent
said
me-
that before and after, he was not gonna do something in the middle, he said, clean up would go on
Yeah.
for Monday, not for Saturday
Yeah,
night.
Collins did that maybe 2 years ago,
Yeah.
and it's Saturday night, they're out there, and they're out there again Sunday night, so generally the vendors try to keep their area clean, otherwise they lose their cleanup deposit, but I think it saves the town some money by not being there on Saturday night and coming in early Monday morning and getting it done. I think it's working out well.
And Tower reserved 2 booths, I think, for us, right?
I saw the one come in for the pool fund, but I haven't seen the one come in for environmental.
Okay, I thought she was gonna do both.
Unless they sent them directly to Gail, I don't know.
She went on the website, I think, and did them.
Yeah, well, I downloaded the app and sent it to Jill, and then she did send back the one from Tara, and I forwarded that one up to Gail.
All right, so you need something you gonna have room for both?
Yes, yeah.
Do you think you need 2 booths, or you think you need 2 booths for that?
I didn't even look, I saw that it was, the application for the pool fundraiser. I just forwarded it to Gail. I don't know if
Was
they
it for
want.
2 booths or 1? 'Cause maybe
I
she-
didn't look at it, Gene, I just forwarded
Okay,
it.
I'll double check tomorrow. I'd like to make a motion to approve the Rosendale Street Festival site plan.
I'll second.
Roll call, Councilman Hassett?
Yes.
Councilwoman Metzger?
Yes.
Councilman Oslowski?
Yes.
Councilman Ryan?
Good luck and yes.
Supervisor Walsh?
Yes.
Thank you all.
Mandy, you know what number we're on?
5.
This is 5? Resolution 6/12/2014-5, a customer service maintenance agreement for telephone system at 136 Creek Blocks Road, Water and Sewer Department. Whereas up-to-date communication technology is essential for smooth and efficient operation, and whereas the town board of the town of Rosendale contracts with Crosspoint Solutions for telephone and communication services, and whereas Crosspoint Solution has submitted an annual contract for renewal of service and maintenance for the telephone system at the water and sewer facility located at 136 Creek Blocks Road, Rosendale, New York, 12472, effective July 15, 2014 through July 14, 2015, the amount of $400. Said contract which is attached hereto and made a part hereof. Now therefore be resolved that the town board of the town of Rosendale hereby approves the supervisor to sign the aforementioned service contract.
And I'll second that.
Roll call, Councilman Hassett?
Yes.
Councilwoman Metzger?
Yes.
Councilman Oslowski?
Yes.
Councilman Ryan?
Yes.
Supervisor Walsh?
Yes. And we had some discussions about moving our town board meetings to our new location up at the Rhonda Municipal Center. And the board talked about moving our meetings to a 6:30 time period. Jen, I know you had said you prefer to be 7, so I'd like to just get some feedback on this before we make a decision tonight. I'd like to do this so we can start July. One of the things, I understand your concern is that you want to be sure the public can get to the meetings, but I also get feedback that people can't come to the meetings because of the lateness of them, that they run too late. So, and I know we're here sometimes till very late, and it gets to be a very long night. I've done a little bit of checking. Some of the other towns do, Warsing starts at 5:30. Rochester does 6:30 on the workshop night and 7 on the town board night. Marbletown does 7. So I'm just saying, you know, I don't think it's unusual for us to think about having an earlier start, especially since these meetings sometimes have, you know, more than 15 items on them, and we end up being here quite late. And what happens at the end of the night is we don't really care anymore, we just want to get it done. So,
I'm good with what everybody wants to do.
either
Doesn't
way,
matter to me.
you're okay.
Yeah, it doesn't matter whatever you all agree on.
When I spoke to Jill, I was thinking really as a colleague,
Mhm.
and I didn't want to be the reason we couldn't start earlier. And so 6:30, I'd have to take some time off. I'm willing to do that.
Okay.
But I am concerned, I share the concern about how early is too early for the public. And it seems like 7 is a more reasonable time. It doesn't seem as significant an improvement to go from 7:30 to 7, but it does seem to be the more standard number that I've seen out there. Again, I just, not on behalf of my schedule, but on behalf of mine.
Okay. How do you feel?
Like Councilman Ryan, I'll go with the flow and make sure that I get here whenever the consensus deems it appropriate, but, Chris, long-term, getting into, you having to take time off, I think that would be unfair.
Yeah, I agree on that.
For you to have to do that,
Thank you.
twice a
But I
month.
wouldn't
So,
put that-
No, we wanted to make this
You know,
something
and
that
Jen
is
has
not a
I
hardship.
think Jen's got a valid concern with regard to, the time of the meeting and the public being able to, get here and be a part of it. So my suggestion is, why don't we go with 7, and see how it works, and then at some point, if this board concludes that 6:30 would be a more appropriate time, or anything else, we can revisit it, but.
You shouldn't have to take off time.
Exactly.
But, I mean, why couldn't you just quit your job? That way you don't have to take time.
Why aren't you putting this job first?
I don't think we can start.
All right, so where it says now, therefore it resolved, let's change that from 6:30 to 7.
You can do 6:45.
That's too,
No.
too fun.
That's
But I do, I want to,
You mean, oh, jeez.
I want to thank Councilman Hassett and the board for considering that. I think it's a good time.
Well, we want it to be something that we all agree is a good time, so. So resolution 6, 2014, 6.
Jean,
Yeah.
just as a note, I know that we're going to be talking about boards and commissions meeting at the municipal center,
Yeah.
but I just do want to mention that the rec commission wants to continue meeting here, and
Yeah.
obviously that's going to be
Well,
with
after
the
I'm
blessing
done-
of the board, and
Right.
So they've asked me to pass that on to the board. They'd like to continue the meeting.
And I would say the youth commission should also continue where they are also, at the youth center. What I'm going to do is at the end of this, ask you, for part of this is to ask you permission to write a letter to the commissions and boards to do a resolution of their own to move it, to move. So the ones that, we just won't send one to recreation and.
So it is possible for any of the town's boards and commissions to remain here?
No, we're not doing that.
Okay.
No.
Just rec? and-
Just recreation, this is their operating,
Right.
place of
Okay.
operation.
Yeah.
The others are expected to move up there.
Oh,
But they,
And just to clarify, rec, because rec is in charge of the whole facility,
Right.
should there be an issue to be addressed, it'd be most appropriate to be here. I think any of the other, boards or commissions, you're working from a manual, or, and it is imperatively in any one particular spot. So that's the only reason that rec had requested to, remain here.
yeah, and,
And it makes a lot of sense for you.
Well, the youth is, we
Youth
always
should
be
be
back
moving.
there anyway.
Yeah.
and then all the other boards and commissions, we're gonna have multiple spaces for meetings, so we can have, it looks like we're gonna have 3 different places for meetings. So, there's definitely plenty of places. We're gonna probably have a little bit of switching around till we figure it all out, especially when Marbletown moves in. But we want to be able to open this up for recreation, and consistently, they've had times where they couldn't use it for the people that needed it because of a meeting. So this will, a meeting that maybe, that's the whole idea. So we can still do recreation in both locations and have meetings, and it won't interfere. So I think that's the best thing.
And we have chairs now.
Chairs,
Do you have chairs?
which we still have to pay for.
We can,
I thought that's what was doing.
tree.
Yes, Bill?
Is there any target date for the move?
I'm sorry.
Any target month for the move?
For the commissions, we want them to move their next meeting in July, their
Okay.
July meeting into the, so you have a meeting, what, tomorrow?
Yes,
Would you do a resolution tomorrow night? to
yes, because
move it
Leslie
to-
already sent out asking people for their opinions, and we've got feedback from,
My
5
impression
a.m.
was you wanted to stay with the same time or whatever, right? Or
well,
close to
we'll
it.
see, I mean,
Because I know you guys do workshops sometimes before your regular meeting, that was.
I think our responses so far have pretty much mirrored yours, some favor earlier, some like to stay the same, but,
I would actually say the planning board, I understand why you don't want to change the time, but your issue with staying late is even more of an issue than it is for the town.
I
It goes into the
I
next day
can remember
sometimes.
many times being there till 12, 1 o'clock in the morning.
Gene, I live closer now.
So, yeah, it's really gonna be up to the board's discretion, if we have a conflict up there, we'll designate a different location. We're gonna try and have most of our meetings in the one room that's next to the town clerk's office, but we do have the courtroom, we have the cafeteria, we have the gymnasium, and we have a conference room that we're putting aside. So all those will make it easy for all the meetings to be able to take place. But I think it's time for us to do that. It will be a little bit of adjustment, and we won't have all the amenities that we're used to. We'll have to rough it for a little bit as we get some of these things in place, but I think it's time to take care of that, and, we'll get everything as we go. So, a resolution, what did I say, number 6, right? 6/2014-6, moving Town of Rosendale Board and Commission meetings. Whereas the Town of Rosendale currently holds their board and commission meetings at the Rosendale Recreation Center, located at 1055 Route 32, Rosendale, New York, 12472. And whereas the Town of Rosendale has moved their offices to the Rondette Municipal Center at 1915 Lucas Avenue, Cottington, New York, 12419. And whereas the new office location has a space to hold board and commission meetings, and whereas the town board workshops and meetings often run late into the evening, and whereas the town board desires an earlier start time for these workshops and meetings. Now therefore be resolved that the town board workshops and meetings will now take place at the Rondette Municipal Center at 7 p.m. And be therefore resolved that the town board of the town of Rosendale authorize the supervisor to draft a letter asking all boards and commissions to move their meetings, accepting the recreation and youth, to the Rondette Municipal Center effective July 2014. Be it further resolved that the town clerk of the town of Rosendale is hereby directed and authorized to legally advertise same.
That's Chris.
Roll call, Councilman Hassett?
Yes.
Councilman Metzger?
Yes.
Councilman Kozlowski?
Yes.
Councilman Ryan?
Yes,
Supervisor Wilt?
Yes, who seconded that?
Chris.
Yes.
So the next one is to renew the contract for internet with the BOCES. Hopefully by next month, we'll have normal town meeting and start sharing the cost of this. It's been a placeholder, but it's been a whole year since we signed the contract, even though we haven't really been using the service, and we didn't start paying them until November. So, but it's time to get a new contract in place. So Resolution 6/2014-7, resolution authorizing contract for internet with the Ulster Board of Cooperative Education Services at the Rondette Valley Municipal Community Center. Whereas BOCES has been providing internet service to the town of Rosendale at the Rondette Municipal Center, 1915 Lucas Avenue, Cottington, New York, 12419, the premises. And whereas the town desires to continue using such internet service at said premises. And whereas the parties are authorized to share such resources pursuant to Article 5G of the General Municipal Law of the State of New York, GML. And whereas the parties have reached an agreement as to the terms, conditions, expectations, and costs related to the town's use of internet service at said premises. And whereas the parties by resolution of their respective governing bodies have duly authorized their designated representatives to enter into and execute this agreement. Now therefore be resolved, the town board of the town of Rosendale authorize the supervisor to sign said agreement as amended on behalf of the town of Rosendale. And the amendments were just to add the leases, because Marlborough will be a leasee and any other entities that vote in there will be leasees. And we changed it to continue instead of to initiate the contract. So those are the only amendments on it.
I'll second that.
Roll vote, Councilman Hassett?
Yes.
Councilwoman Metzger?
Yes.
Councilman Kozlowski?
Yes.
Councilman Ryan?
Yes.
Supervisor Wall?
Yes. The next resolution is a resolution to give permission for the Williams Lake Waterworks Corporation to form a corporation. You guys have all the paperwork. We had sent it to you. We didn't have to go and think of this. And there were some minor typos and making lines darker kind of thing that was improved. And we do have Terry's opinion of, that he's reviewed it and looked at it and he's happy with it. And I also had Bergman review it. This is basically just their permission to form the corporation. So that would be a resolution 6/2014-8.
Yep.
Resolution consenting to form.
Jean,
Yeah.
Can we discuss it now, or should we discuss it after you read the resolution? I always forget that protocol.
Usually, I usually read the resolution. Resolution consenting to formation of a waterworks corporation. Whereas consent to formation of a water transportation corporation to serve the Hudson River Valley Resort Development has been requested from the town board of the town of Rosendale. And where such consent will allow the creation of a legal entity to provide potable water to the residents and guests of the Hudson River Valley Resort as required by the laws of the state of New York. Now therefore be resolved that the town board of the town of Rosendale or a majority thereof hereby consents to the formation of a waterworks corporation, transportation corporation, so as to permit the filing of the certificate of incorporation, of the certificate of incorporation, a copy of which has heretofore been provided to this board, and be it further resolved that the town clerk hereby is authorized and directed to certify the enactment of this resolution, provide the same to the applicant. Now, if somebody wants a second, we can open it for discussion.
I'll second.
Yes, Jen?
I'd like to propose, I appreciate getting the document 9 days ago. The cover email from Jill said that it was still being reviewed by the attorney, and it seemed like it was still in process. And typically...
Now, the only person that was being reviewed by was the engineers.
Oh, okay. It was being reviewed. It said town attorney and engineer in the email. And typically, something like this is on the workshop agenda as an announcement for this week. And it's a big issue, and I would like to just have the opportunity to ask a couple of questions with the town attorney next week.
I'm not putting this on.
Or next month.
I'll vote if everybody wants to vote against it, that's up to you guys, but I think this has been in the works for long enough, and there's no reason to put it off. This is just letting them form a corporation.
Okay.
Now,
Is
everything-
there a downside to doing this at the same time that we do the sewer?
There's no public hearing for this. It's
I
not a public hearing,
understand,
yeah.
but she'll probably be there anyway.
What is
right?
it that you're concerned about?
Well, first of all, I didn't even know it was going to be on this month's agenda. I reviewed it, I read it when we first got it, but I didn't get a chance to, look through each word and, just make sure I don't have any questions. Just totally off the top, I had just a couple of questions about in the certificate of incorporation, about the implications for the town and also for neighboring property owners, having the ability to, the corporation would have the ability to acquire property through condemnation. And so I just want to know what the implications of this is before
I just feel like you had 9 days or 10 days or whatever it is to ask those questions, and you could have, I know you had a conversation with Mary Lou this week. Why didn't you ask her those questions at this time?
I didn't know till this afternoon that, and the agenda, I checked for the agenda this morning and it was not on the website. And it
And
was
the only
on,
reason it wasn't was because I was still waiting for the letter from the engineer saying he's approved everything. And,
okay, well, this is just, you can vote on it, but I can't vote on it with
I have to admit, I'm in the same boat. I looked at it when we received it, but when it wasn't in the workshop, I assumed that it wasn't something we were voting on this week.
But when, traditionally when we receive this to review, you have to assume that we're going to address it at the next board meeting and/or workshop. So it was made available for review.
I mean,
I've gone through it.
Yeah, I feel like I can't win because, you guys, the whole thing is, you're stressing that you wanted ahead of time to look at it. And that's, that's what happened. You got plenty of time to review it and look at it. It's, there's nothing that you guys are gonna change on it that's gonna make any difference. This is the process that has to be done. This has been reviewed for 7 years, This is just, it's one of those things that this next step, It's got, a corporation has to be formed for the water district so they can move forward. Can it wait another week? Yeah, it can, but I don't see that it's gonna make any difference. But, if you wanna wait till next month, if the rest of the board wants to wait till next month, I don't have a problem with that, but I think it's, it's just, I just don't understand it.
I'm ready to vote tonight. We've gone through that. Every time something for the Williams Lake project comes up, there's got to be a delay and let's wait till next month and let's talk. We've had these documents for the better part of 2 weeks. For the better part of 2 weeks. This project has been going on for the better part of 7 years. We all knew, everybody sitting at this board knew, that these documents were going to come before us and we're going to have to consider this as a boilerplate procedure moving forward. That's all it is. It's a boilerplate procedure moving forward.
This has already been reviewed by, in every way that can be reviewed, it's been reviewed. And that's what the process, this has gone through seeker, where they're kind of they got to put a water district in there. That's part of this process,
This was a large part of the secret process, and DEC looked at every aspect of this.
Okay, this is a legal document, and I would feel more comfortable having the opportunity to ask questions.
You could have asked those questions in 9 days, 9 days ago.
The
A year ago,
email
a month ago, 3
I
months ago.
received-
Jen, like I just said, this was going to become before us. You knew it. You knew it before you took the job, Jen. That
This
this
is what
particular
workshop
piece
meetings
of
are for.
legislation was going to come before this board as a process.
I'm sorry, this is what workshop meetings are for. And go ahead and vote if that's,
That's
I
what it
can't
is.
stop you from voting.
I have to ask the question about whether this is, what's the purpose of this, I have some concerns that if we vote tonight, it's just gonna be one of those reasons to make trouble for the project, and I don't wanna see that happen. If another month is gonna make a difference, that doesn't happen, but I don't really see that's gonna make any difference in the documents that have been worked on for
I'd like you to
months and
identify
months
your
and months
concerns.
to figure out what's wrong.
What are the concerns
you know?
with regard to the certificate of incorporation? We've done these things
I
before.
just mentioned one.
The fact that it mentions condemnation,
Well, I
Any-
want to know what the implications are for property owners around.
you're a pretty smart lady. You didn't read this 9 days ago?
I did.
You didn't highlight that 9 days ago?
You know what, Ken, you're not getting in a discussion with me, you're just trying to.
I'm just asking the
frame
question.
answer that you.
I'm just
No,
trying to-
you're not
I'm just trying to
asking
ask the question, Jen.
So, I have explained, I think, very clearly what I'm asking, and it's up to the rest of the board to decide.
I want to try to smooth the waters out a little bit here. And, it really has been an extremely long time that this has been going on, this whole process, 7, 8 years. And being a liaison for the water and sewer, I'm kind of looking at it as a positive thing because it's going to be looking down the line, it's going to be the newest, most environmentally safe, most energy safe, energy conservative thing that is going, but more importantly, with the shape that our water and sewer department and system is here, I'm thinking with the wheels turning, God forbid in an emergency, they may be a source to back up the town. So, I'm kind of looking at it in different angles, and after, talking about this topic for so many years, and then explaining it over and over and having public hearings on it, I have to say I'm ready to move on it. I just want to smooth the waters here so there's no anger and there's no discontent, but that's.
It's gonna be
being the
just
liaison.
obviously a difference of opinion too. I mean,
It's
that's-
just the difference of opinion.
So let me ask, because I haven't done this before, why are we having a public hearing? Why are we setting a public hearing for the sewage works, but we're just approving the water works?
It's a different process for the two. The sewer district
It's like for the
corporation, the
town.
corporation was already formed for the sewer back when we did the master plan around that time.
They're two
The water just didn't get taken care of at that time. It was still one part of it that just was left hanging, not done. It's not that it's just another part of the process that has to be done, but they don't need to do a public hearing for the waterworks. It's just different regulations that you have to do.
They're two really, they always go together, water and sewer, but they are pretty much two separate identities here.
Yeah,
So
but
that's why.
this is a different process for what you need when you do it, what's regulated that we have to do for sewer is different than what you have to do for water. The waterworks requires, they can incorporate and then they can form the district, and we just have to review it, and the only other person that has to sign off on it is the highway superintendent. The sewer district, we have to have a public hearing about it, so, because you're creating a backup district, so that if it ever fails, the town can take over the district to run it, to manage it like we do for the other sewer districts. But that's not the case for the water district. That's the reason you're having a public hearing for the sewer district, is to be able to manage it if it was ever turned over to the town.
That's why they're two separate identities.
They're two separate identities, so.
And when, Councilman Hassett, when you said it's boilerplate, is,
The language, and Jen's concern is the condemnation language in there, but that's not specific to this project. That's not specific to this project in that, should they decide to go across the street, they're going to condemn somebody's land to get that. That's not the case at all. Brian, correct me if I'm wrong.
I just want to know why the language is in there and what its implications are for neighbors. That's it. I don't get it from reading the document. I've not adopted any document like this in my life, and I just don't feel comfortable voting yes. But as I said, it's up to you all.
I would be okay with pushing this off to the July meeting, because, it's not going to I don't think it's going to make any difference in the progress that they have to make to go forward, because they're going to do the sewer district too. But I urge you to find out the answer to those questions, and as far as I'm concerned, I feel a lot of work's gone into this. I think it's ready to go. If you need to satisfy yourself, I'm not gonna stand in the way of that. But I just want to be sure that the reason that we're doing that is to get your questions answered, not to delay this process. That's my concern.
Just
I
till
don't
next
want
month.
anything thrown in the way to make this go forward. And it's got to be because you have a question that hasn't answered. But I want to urge you in the future that anything to do with this project, we need to be, a little bit more diligent about reviewing it so that we don't have unnecessary delays because this project's been delayed way too long.
Okay. I mean, again, if we had it if there was even a mention in the email that we were going to do it this month when it was sent to me, or was on the workshop agenda, so that I knew it would be coming up.
Jen, I just feel like that's just an excuse, because this is, I can't hold your hand, okay? You gotta take a little, you gotta just look. If I send something to you, I'm expecting you to review it and expect that it's gonna be on it's coming up, or I wouldn't be sending it to you. I mean, that's.
I appreciate you considering giving us an extension to pursue these.
I mean, you had plenty of time to look at it, and it's just, It's always gonna be that way. And the question is, do you truly have a question about this, or do you want to make problems for this project?
No,
That's
this
what I
is-
need to know the difference.
Sure, this is similar to questions that I started with in January. I don't intend to obstruct any processes.
Well, I'm glad to hear that.
We've had this conversation in regard to other issues. I'm asking questions because I don't yet understand it and trying to figure out again how I would explain it to the public. I have no doubt that a lot of very good work has gone into this. I have great appreciation for the amount of work that I know this board does, that our supervisor does. But I have a hard time voting on something that I don't quite understand.
Yeah.
Even if that is,
Well, I'm just gonna say, one thing that we do, and, we read it over, we try to understand it, but we also have to rely somewhat on our legal opinions, on our professional opinions, our engineers, and even our superintendent of water and sewer for this, something like this. You look at the experts and you ask their opinion, and you look at it, and we've gotten those opinions, okay? And in addition to the experts, drafting these things.
But I do think it's valuable to have Mary Lou come to the board meeting when we're doing something like this, just so we can ask her.
She just couldn't make it tonight,
may we forward
And
questions
to
to.
that point, in the interest of saving the town some money, if there's a particular question that we may have that's generated by the paperwork that we get, that question can be answered simply by a phone call. To ask her to come here, we're going to be paying her to sit here to perhaps answer one question. So obviously, if it's needed, we should have her here, and we always do. We always do. But to have her sitting here anytime there's going to be something on the agenda with regard to this project, that we're going to take a blanket approach, that we're going to, pay Mary Lou to sit here, I don't know. If that's the new way the board's going to go for it. Go for it.
We're not gonna.
I put the utmost trust in Terry Johnson. Terry Johnson knows this town water and sewer like the back of his hand, and I have discussed this with him. And I'm convinced, Councilman Haas has said, we've all agreed, this has been a 7 to 8 year project going on. I think we're just, I think we're just looking for things. I think we gotta move ahead. And all I can say is, speaking to Mr. Johnson, I'm ready to vote on it tonight, because another month,
Another month isn't gonna hurt. I'm gonna ask you this question: are you gonna have an objection to us setting the public hearing for the sewer district? Okay.
Not at all.
Okay. So, it's the same kind of information. It's the same kind of document, except that they've already, we're gonna go to the next step. So it's just, to
Right,
me.
but we're
it's-
not making a decision on this.
I think we pretty much know where everybody is. I'm going to make a motion to table this. Let's do it next month and give everybody the opportunity to come in here and make an intelligent vote. Motion table.
That's fine.
Thank you.
Second.
Second.
Roll vote, Councilman Hassett?
Yes.
Councilwoman Metzger?
Yes.
Councilman Kozlowski?
Yes.
Councilman Ryan?
yes.
Supervisor Walsh?
Yes. At the table.
Yes, for the table.
All right, so resolution 6/2014-8 then, that was what's on 8. It just seems a little strange to me that the first issue that really has come up has to do with Williams Lake. It's just, this project is gonna happen. You guys gotta stop, trying to do a monkey wrench in the works. Resolution 6/2014-8, scheduling a public hearing for Williams Lake Sewage-Works Corporation. Whereas the Williams Lake Sewage-Works Corporation has requested the town of Rosendale enter into an agreement with that transportation corporation, in which the corporation will construct a sewer system to provide sewage services for the Hudson River Valley Resort, in which a backup sewer district will be formed by the town of Rosendale. And whereas the agreement and related reports and documentation have been reviewed and approved by the engineering firm of Bergman Associates on the town's behalf. And whereas a public hearing must be scheduled to review same and set up a backup sewer district. Now therefore be resolved that the town board of the town of Rosendale hereby schedules a public hearing on July 9th at 7 p.m. at the Rondette Municipal Center, 1915 Lucas Avenue, Cottikill, New York, 12419. Be it further resolved that the town clerk of the town of Rosendale is hereby directed and authorized to legally advertise same.
That was 7.
I'll second.
Roll call, Councilman Hassett.
Yes.
Councilwoman Metzger.
Yes.
Councilman Kozlowski.
Yes.
Councilman Ryan.
Yes.
Supervisor Wilt.
Yes.
Question?
No, I'm not discussing anything to do with Williams.
I had a question.
I want to answer your questions. I can make a motion to pay the bills.
Second.
Third.